Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and welcome to twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn live stream. We're gonna have a sexy Wednesday Zendnesday up in here. How you all doing today there, Hologram 1, the 14th Doctor? Huh? You feeling it? You feeling the groove that I'm laying down over here? Yeah, you feeling that? Hey, you feeling the stuff that's in my throat? Good God. Hello, it's a secret to every pony. Zed on trucks, says Snowman Olaf. And a guy called by. Hi, how you doing? Hey, pony. Hi. Happy Valentine's Day. Is it Valentine's Day now? Is it the 14th? Is that when they do that thing? I honestly have no idea. You can tell how romantic my life is. Welcome to a Zendnesday Wednesday. We will be playing, because I played American Truck Simulator last live stream on Monday, when I didn't intend to, but I just needed to break. We'll be playing the Beginner's Guide. I have a slight sense what this game is about, a very slight sense what this game is about, that there's some depth to it, that it's an artist kind of unmaking and unpacking a lot of stuff, a game developer unpacking his experience as a game developer into a game, and then inviting the people who helped to cause him the problems to come along and enjoy my experience. And the hell you've made my life! I might be wrong, but I'm gonna try the Beginner's Guide today, having very little clue what it is, and see if that leads us into any zen whatsoever. I'm still single, I don't have an education, and I got fired today. Happy fucking Valentine's Day, everyone, says a guy called by. The fucking Valentine's Day to you, and everyone you hate. I thought I'm feeling groovy, says Archrochi. Well, that's the spirit, pauses. It's a secret to every pony. Well, let's see if we can't make the Beginner's Guide work for us, eh? Oh, God. Let's see if we can't make the... How are we doing? What's happening? Ah! No, what? Something went real wrong, and the Beginner's Guide crashed. Please contact grand.pc, and don't forget to be nice. Okay, well, we'll not be doing the Beginner's Guide today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it another try. Okay, I clicked out and then I clicked back in. Maybe that just derailed the whole thing. Everything unlimited limited. Hey! It just works. It just works. As long as I don't have to click out of the game and click back in, we'll be fine. I effing love this game, says Noah Grant. Never played it. It was highly recommended. It was like, don't watch any content around this game until after you've played this game, was the recommendation that I received from everywhere. So I haven't. I don't know anything about, well, I know what I've picked up, what I just said, but never seen a moment of this game. Did he miss my cheer again, says Noah Crow. Wait, did you cheer? I didn't hear, did it bling? Cheer 5, happy no girlfriend day! Sorry, when the game starts breaking on me, what am I gonna do? Is the crash part of the game because we're doing the pain of game dev works? Ooh, maybe it was intentional. Something went wrong. Options, video, widescreen, full screen. If I could make that windowed no border, but also in these, can you do that? Apply. It worked! It worked! Rarely do these things actually work out of the box. Lovely! I'm just going to back out. We're going to stick with everything exactly the way it is. And I'm going to read a guy called Pie's Cheer, because I always hear a guy called Pie's Cheer. It's only Noah's that I somehow managed to filter out, and I'm sorry. I swear to God, says Noah. Cheer 5 Fun, how's the indirect extension of your conscious being that occupies a physical space inside the physical space that human minds considered a domicile? How is the being referred to as Whitney? I will know nothing of Whitney if all goes well. I will know nothing of Whitney until this Saturday, because Whitney is in clinic right now, and she will be in clinic for the next 4 days now? 3 days? Until Saturday is when that will be the earliest that I expect to hear from her, and I'm hoping not to hear from her until then, because if I hear from her before then things did not go well. How is this domicile? That's alright. Cheer 5 warning, this game is pretty meta, also get ready for some major feels. Well, good. I only had a sneaking suspicion as to what this game was about, but I had to give the live stream a title, and this is a Zendnesday, so I titled it, The Beginner's Guide and Why It Hurts. And we'll see if that becomes relevant as we begin the game. should probably look at the screen and not back at the green screen. Please make sure audio is on. Can you hear it? I can hear it. Okay, with sad and left click. That's all we're ever going to need. Oh no, there's a mouse on the screen.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon.
Nice to be here.
I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Okay.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
Sounds like how I do
think
things.
He really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together.
Sounds like what I did with YouTube.
I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay, November 2008, Coda's, first or second or ninth or... Whoa! First, like, whisper machine, status active. Evacuate immediately. Okay. Will do.
This game is called Escape from Whisper.
Okay.
And it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Uh-huh. Well, I want to go toward the fire. Okay, can't go toward the fire. Alright. She's trying to trick me, I see. This is actually... I can see how this inspired the guy who made the Stanley Parable. You know? Like, that light draws you toward here. And then you go down here and go, oh shit, I can't go that way, and it draws you back. And it's like creating your experience in an indirect way, but it's also direct. Very Mirror's Edge, you know? You use light and you use color to draw people in the directions that you want them to go, and then it seems to them as though they're making the choice.
Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Okay, hostile alien life forms inbound.
It kind of looks like this
but
game
you're
was
really making the
abandoned
choice for them.
development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is.
Oh, that's glass.
And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
What? I neutralized the enemy force! Yeah, alright! I did it! Congratulations, me!
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
You can. It's beautiful. I like it too. I like it too. I like it when, you know, if you know that you're doing this. Oh, look, that opens, and so does that one. But then what's down here? Nothing. I can't go any further. Okay. Okay. Nice space, actually. You know? If you don't look down, that's actually a really good, sky box in the most cubular sense. Apong, you spending Valentine's Day alone playing games, says Mr. I didn't even know it was Valentine's Day. I was feeling fine until you told me it was Valentine's Day, and I'm like, oh god, I'm alone.
Apparently the space station has a labyrinth on it.
Oh, why wouldn't it?
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, okay, thank you! Cheer 5, should mention this is a real story, says Noah Cross. This? Being trapped on a space station with a gun that you can never reload once you're out of bullets and there's no enemies?
This is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
What?
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
I mean, you know, it's Valentine's Day. I'm alone. Ah! Oh.
Let me pause here for a second.
That's the crotch.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh yeah. I get how this inspired the Stanley Parable. I absolutely get it. Okay. So, same room. I got glitched back to where I started. Okay, and because I don't die, I get...
The beam causes you to start floating.
Yeah.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
This is cool. This is very cool. It's my job to make you feel lonely, says Mr. Iggytech. This is making me want to crack open the old game dev tools again, says Pony. Pawn would jump in the beam. Yeah, I would. Grab your tissues, this is going to be an emotional journey, says Mason. Ah! I'd let everyone die, to be honest, says Hologram 1. I don't think this game was actually that emotional, says Mr. Iggytech. But then again, I used to think Minions were funny when I first played it. Walking backwards? Past was behind her.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
I hadn't even tried the with sad keys. Okay. Past was behind her. Interesting that Coda is a man and, he's got a woman's voice for everything, and then starts this one out with the past was behind her. Does Coda identify more with... Oh,
so
hello.
It's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Oh, I love this sudden change of aesthetic from brick to clean white. Yep, right up the... But if the future is always behind her... Yes... How will she find the strength? Nothing written on the walls. Still nothing. Oh, to confront it. Oh, thank
It's
you.
a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Okay, hit me. I'm ready. Aha! It's a horror game. Should I walk off the... Okay, invisible walls. Stay on the path. You are now entering. Who? Now entering... Yep, stay on the path. I am now entering... Mom.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. You jump scare, lol. Nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Ooh.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I love the sense of visual aesthetic, and actually I do agree with, when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. So, what are you gonna do? Many projects that I've started up and then finished, and, you know, or not finished, and said, well, I'll just put that in the fridge and probably never come back to it. Whoa. Whoa.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
No, I'm gonna earn it. Here. Ah. Here. Here. It does seem to be at least maintaining this speed. I mean, for a moment there it was doing, you know, constantly. It was a curve algorithm to decrease your speed. All right, hit enter. And then it was just going to hold that speed forever. And then you get up here and you walk inside, and the game is nothing but giant blocks of text. Explaining what's happening. A series of lavish manuals come with the game, giving you incorrect instructions how to play. You are the queen, dusting your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed.
That's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Button you press to stop the chaos that doesn't work. Well, of course. Press U to surrender. I pressed
Coda
U,
would often
nothing
tell
happened.
me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that.
This is always wrong.
It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You must address and rally a group of eager press reporters. A game of only posters and concept art showing what the game is intended to be. I like that one too. I like this Coda. Okay. A door. Wood texture. This is stick-on tile. This isn't expensive stuff. And I love the sense of visual design, though, that I've seen so far. You know, even when everything is simple and simple textures, like the space that this designer is creating and making interesting through light, and like, definitely a good sense of
Well, this is new for
how to make
Coda.
a good game.
It's an actual puzzle.
Oh, hello.
Go ahead and see if you can solve
I
it.
just fell in. Okay, well, there's a knobby here. Hit the button. Door opens. Puzzle solved! Congratulations. Oh. And there's some smoke. Is this room on fire? Okay, hit the button, close the door. Now I'm trapped in a dark room. And, oh, wait. Alright, there is length to both of these sides. Trapped in the room. Is there another? I can't click on that door. Open it up from this side.
Don't forget that solution, because
Aha!
we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Aha!
We're going to see it a lot.
He's going to fire arrows into my... 3 dots. Bear in mind there are 3 dots. Not 4, 3. 3 dots! There are 3 dots! Okay. Yes. Door behind me. I'm going to close the door. No, it's not the Stanley Parable. Or maybe it is.
So that seems to be it, right?
Yeah.
You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright,
Okay.
now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. Enter. What? What, though?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I don't know, I can't hear you. You're drifting off. Speak up. What's interesting about these games, it's pointing in some direction here, is, you know, they're definitely made for the developer. Like, the developer is making games. You are now exiting. Is making games for
this,
them.
Combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
If I could nuke a chat, I would, says Mr. Igitek. Why? What's going on in chat? There are 4 dots. There are 3 dots! I'll call up a Kim Jong-un. Don't do it. Oh, wow. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. I mean, just damn.
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Let's talk about graphic
Every
design.
video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The streetwise fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Ooh.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
The sounds of the footsteps change when you get on the carpet. That's pretty damn nice. That's very, very damn nice. Okay, that door opened. What did it say on it? I don't know. I'm going in. Okay. Overhead lighting. Stairwell. And I can get over to this side. Which leads to the outside, if I recall. Okay. Entirely, just completely different aesthetic now. And it's turned into a platformer. What the hell is going on? The streetwise fool. Okay. Over here. No, I'm good. You know, I can run along the wall. No! I'm fine. No, I'm not fine. I'm less fine. No, I'm still fine. Looks like that's the best way to get around in this thing. I made it. I made it is just a planned fall. You know, which is all that walking and or your life really is a attempted controlled fall. All the way down. And spiral staircase. Lovely. And now into the sewer level where we will meet the Ninja Turtles. Raphael, he's the leader of the group, except for he's not. This song is poop. And, okay, we're now being gated. There's supposed to be horses here, I presume. Listen to the sound. Okay. Oh! No, I was gonna go that way. Okay. Oh, okay. Completely subverting my expectations. Don't crush me, bro. Bro, don't crush me, bro.
This prison, Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Oh, really?
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Okay. Oh, no, I want to be...
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
Coda sounds like, you know, for the man who made the Stanley Parable, honestly, Coda sounds like a far more interesting character. And I agree with Coda far more than I'm agreeing with this guy. Tier 5, is it just me or all these Half-Life Portal-esque games exactly the same? It's just you, Pi. And, yeah, I rarely agree with you. Definitely agree with Coda. This is interesting. These are experiences to be had, you know? In a realm of, you know, gaming is surprisingly and almost sadly my career. In the realm of gaming, it's just like once you've played, you know, 30, 40 games, you start to realize they're all the same. Like, there's a formula to it. This one's a platformer, that's a roguelike, this one's a first-person shooter, oh, this is a third-person shooter, oh, and the most interesting things that you find in gaming after you've had that experience and seen all of the crap, and seen how it's just, you know, the same mechanics presented with different graphics, is when somebody comes up with a new mechanic, a new aesthetic, does something, takes you on a completely different, you know, ride. It becomes the most interesting thing. I've played Kerbal Space Program, I've played every builder ever, you know? I've played Minecraft, and then there's a billion different things that want to do Minecraft with a different visual aesthetic. These are fucking experiences that I'm very glad that the maker of the Stanley Parable, whose name I do not recall because he introduced Coda and not himself, I'm so glad that he put this together and brought this forward, because this is the kind of thing that you want people to actually experience, widen their ideas of what gaming is worth. When I walked onto this... Oh, wait a second. I stopped very quickly when I stopped there, and then here I slide quite a bit. There's a lot of slide. Huh. Interesting. Interesting that somebody would go to the trouble of changing the walk parameters on a little thing like this. Like, they're putting in the detail, they're putting in the work, and you know, clearly this person is designing something that they don't expect to ever hand to anyone. And yet they're doing all of this. All these little subtle things. Tier 5, Apon, whatever happened with you and Mr. Crazy Wife Beater? Well, he's in prison for 14 years. that's
it's
what
the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Cool. We go in, we hit the thing, it closes behind us, we're in the room with the,
There's still no clear indication
smoke?
of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Well, the way in is the way out, and something along those lines. We'll find out. Well, you know, I'll let him go with it. I don't want to try and second guess everything. I'm here to have this experience, and you're creating one that's very interesting, so I'm not going to try and shove my shit down your throat. By the way, here's a bunch of my shit. Oh, God. Yeah, talk about being inspired. You there, did you come from up above?
Here, Coda begins
what
using
was
a
up
tiny
there?
dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Thanks. Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. Alright, I like the one with whiteness. There was a world stamped with whiteness. That's the world above. You've been there! Now, this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Oh, yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. 3, I'd prefer not to tell you. After all, we've just met. Yes, that was literally the last thing I did before coming. Again, perfect. Now, please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. Meanwhile, Parallel is cheering 35. Part of the source engine is different effects on materials. A fun little bit of help for devs and map makers. Also, you missed 3 dots, but I'm sure it's fine. There were 4 dots, Parallel! 4 dots! Pawn loves whiteness. If Source is anything like Half-Life 1, engine, both different footstep sounds and slippery surfaces are easy to modify in the level editor. Sure, but somebody took the effort to do it, and especially on, like, gravel. Gravel has no reason to become slicker. I presume that that's a little tinker that he did. And I noticed, at least. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. 3, trust me, you don't want to go over there. I'm gonna say 2. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. You know, out of the options I have, it seems the most interesting. You didn't solve it, so you have learned nothing. You cannot help us escape this prison. You are not the one I need. Surely there will be someone else. We're trapped in the whiteness. So we're all stuck here then? Okay. I'm gonna use the bathroom and then I'll be back and you guys can put the green listen cube onto my head. By the way, so listen, speak. On the back of there, does it say like lick and then like, you know, naughty parts and if I roll your head, is it a sex game? Because it is Valentine's Day. And those are pretty big deals. Oh, look, nice little fireplace. Yeah. That was literally the last thing I did before coming. Who made that quote? Damn it, Pony. Damn it. Turn down the game music a bit, says Noah Craw. You're gonna have more trouble hearing him. Let's see, maybe it's different, maybe it's separate. Master volume. No. Damn it. Okay. We'll turn it down a bit. Is that any better? For you? Let me know. I just don't want to... Uh-oh. Hello. How did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? Or no, I've been right here this entire time. Yes, would you like to know how to solve it? I know. No. We actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the space between the doors? Or, actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. 3, I don't recall a space between the doors. This is interesting. I could turn this whole thing into Zen right here. 2 doors and the space in between them, subject, object, and all that. I'm gonna say, actually, now that you mentioned it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it the first time I saw those doors. It was very interesting to me, the very subtle use of the black smoke underneath that was kind of invisible. At least on my screen, it was invisible until you were looking at it from a certain angle and you could see light above the floor. So, actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Don't think too hard about it. It is Zen. You'll see it again soon. Yes, everything returns and then goes away and returns again. Don't worry. You'll not lose anything. Damn it, Noah. What did Noah do? Modify. Ronan turned on the game music a bit. I can't modify quotes, I'm pretty sure. So, no, there was a fail quote I added recently. Please delete. Isn't there a script that has all the quotes? Yes. Damn it, Noah. What? Give him time to respond. We're going down another stairwell.
So we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Down to the final floor of the level. One last descent in case you can't hear it or me over the things. I'll just speak louder for the rest of the live stream. Again into the darkness. I wonder if there are walls here. I'm going to strafe the walls. I'm going to rub on them to make sure that there's actually wall here and not somewhere to sneak. I don't think so, because he's creating a very, intentional experience, I would say.
It's a lamppost.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Whoa. There is one light. No, 4, 3. Fuck. Vaughn is a moth. April 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Welcome to Dark Souls. Get your soap scum or whatever it is that you scroll on the floor with. Okay. Note number 1 from the other players. Nice room. Not. Okay. That's yeah, it definitely is connected to the internet.
I'm sure you can deduce this.
How do you beat this game?
Is not connected to the internet.
Yes, it is.
All the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda.
No point to this.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
Whoa. Holy shit.
I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
So, I've been reading up on Stage 9, and it seems they're going to be adding actual gameplay to it relatively soon, which is new, but awesome. They don't need gameplay. Look, just walk me around. Give me an experience. I quite enjoy this. 5 lights, 3 dots, 2 bowls, 1 deck. Hello! Hi! How you doing? Reasonable.
Well, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Read this.
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness.
This place makes me sad.
I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I'm king of the world! And also this engine has,
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Okay, well, there's some pretty long and significant things in here. What the shit is this cavern? Good, yeah. I can assure you, guaranteed that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. Yep. Who are the sailors? Is that your new, you know... Hey guys, just looking for... Is that your, you know, in-game, guild? Hey guys, just looking for someone to talk with. And there's no one. There's no one. I refuse to believe! I believe. Butt-ass butt. Yeah, this pretty much represents the internet. Recognize me, please. Wow. Wow, there's nothing here, go back. Don't listen to that guy. A free t-shirt! This free t-shirt! Need other side, door why you so. Makes game, includes door, cannot open door. Thanks. Open sesame. Yeah, it is Dark Souls. Door how open? There's a wall here, and the only way to save the game is if you can know how to break it down. Someday I will meet the person who made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. So you do it for yourself. You do the things for other people out of selfishness. 5. Idolism never leads to a healthy outcome, unless it's you, of course, says Parallel. Is that part actually connected to the internet? No. Do you hear the chimes? They keep you going, don't they? Chimes? Look at the friggin' visual design here. Look at the niceness of the way the light pings off and stuff. You can go in here, I think. I can go where... This is where I get off. I failed to write anything here. Okay, I'm skipping some of it. Look at that beautiful, painting. that I can't go to. What is that painting? It does not matter if you ever get over there. Yeah, I'll bet I never do. Very good game. Very good game. Next time I will do better. Next time I will have a plan for Zendnesday. This is a note. This is a note? Don't listen to the other notes. I'm not safe. Neither am I. Oh, I did get to get over here. Lovely. It's beautiful. It's really, I mean, I know it's got to be like in-game textures or in-engine textures. Whoever made this has issues. Well, don't we all? Help, I am trying to speak. I've had that experience of, you know, where you, like, what do they call that? Sleep paralysis? Help, I'm trying to speak. I'm trying to wake someone. It's like, somebody hear me and come wake me up. Cabbage shapes our nation. Indeed it does. From up here, it just looks like dots. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it is. You know? Or maybe you're too close to see the forest for the trees. Devil Tower Star. Me too. Me too. Interesting. He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. I wonder, like... Did Coda just, like, take... Like, are some of these, I don't know, a list of things? Were they taken randomly from the internet? Was there a script? Or was every single one of these friggin' dots that's placed around here individually placed and individually, yeah, we're all here now, you know, given these values? Because this is a lot just to, there must be a reason for it, though. This is a lot. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game! What, by getting to that corner? There's more game over here, dude. More room.
At the end of this level, we're going
Scared
to see
of writing
the puzzle
something.
again.
Don't
and
want
here,
to feel judged.
I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Is anyone else hearing voices? Whispering in their head? Also, is that me doing that? Because that's the second time that I felt like I felt as though the camera was pulled somewhere. I just heard somebody, there's 3 dots! 4! 2! I wish there were notes in the real world. There's 3 dots here too! I wasn't noticing these dots! Become one with the spiraling nonsense. Yes. Downward, keep digging.
Each of his games, after exploring a theme that, you know, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
I don't trust the narrator. Does this puzzle have a solution? Oh my god, I've been here for literally an hour. What the heck do I do? Help. Help. This doesn't make sense. The second door won't open. Shit, how do you solve it? Developer answers, please?
And because there's this dark area between the doors,
Ooh.
the space between spaces.
Oh, cool. You
Before
put them in
you
here,
move
too.
on, you get to pause. Just for a moment. A few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
I like the puzzle. I liked the puzzle from the beginning. I thought it was cool before everybody else did. Mason cheered 100. It is the game. There are 15 and a quarter dots. The dots are the game? The door is the game? How do you leave notes? He's funny. He's got a good sense of humor, too. You're fine. I had this really weird thing where I apparently fell asleep for about 45 seconds today. Let me just back up for a minute. Good God. Without ever losing consciousness. I was in the middle of talking to someone. I had a clock within my peripheral vision, and the next thing I remembered happening is everyone looking at me like I've gone crazy, and the time being different. I can't. I don't know. The noise won't go away. Is it in the game? Is it in my head? Ah! Okay. Stop typing. Stop it. Stop! Stop. Oh, hey, the poll. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. I'm speaking.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes, hang with it.
Okay. So, I'm in a room. There is a table. There is a sofa. There's a glass table. There are glass shelves. There is... I found the light! That's the end! I found the light, right? That's what means it's the end. Is... what? I heard something. Oh, the door opens. Let's have a look out here. There's a well. You know what this makes me, for some reason? Mist. Doesn't it smell like mist here? The first one? I don't know. Maybe it's the terrain. Maybe it's the well. You know, there's a well in Mist, and when you go into the... ooh, spoilers. Lovely textures. Lovely illuminated textures. This person really had a, you know, sense for use of light and space and color. I'm telling you. More light, space, and color. It's just gonna spin its own wheels, you're saying. Sleep paralysis pie. Yes, so sleep paralysis. Okay. Is this it?
So, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Yeah, the mouse is definitely, occasionally just moving on its own, interestingly. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? How about a TV with a surround sound, a refrigerator? Put a giant hole in the ground. Fuck you. Fuck you too. Wait, if I jump in it, it's a hole now. Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? Huge picture of a horse, washing machine, or 10 stoves lined up. I would like a huge picture of a horse. Thank you. Thank you. I'm having trouble with the IKEA salesman, please. I think we should light up this room. How about a skylight with a full ceiling window? Let's open this up, baby. This baby up. I'm thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric, 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. We'll put live Tesla coils in each corner. I like the skylight. Skylight sounds good. Here we go. Fuck. And a table. You need a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. Pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Yeah. But I can stand on it. Whoa! Oh. Whoa. Oh.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything.
Okay.
It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Yeah, well, maybe you don't get it, Mr. Narrator. Maybe this narrator is untrustworthy.
He throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Are you guys still with me? Because I just got an error in XSplit that my recording has stopped because I don't have enough free space. Where am I recording these things? Oh, apparently to F. Are you guys still with me? It still says we're live streaming, but I'm just checking. Are we good? Yeah. I'm low on disk space on F drive. Me and Coda, we're on the same level. We're good pawns, as Mr. Higgy Tech. Yes, is parallel. Okay, running even, and that train was doing at least 150 miles per hour. Okay, wow, perfectly white space. Thank God I could scroll all the way around. Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Wow, I love the floors. Nice reflective surface. Click. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Photo frame? This one? Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Okay? Click. Click. Now go to the left side sofa. Move it over a little. Okay. I've already lost track. I don't know. Finally, touch the shelves. You touch the shelves. I'm not getting your STDs. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. What? Were this an actual prison, you would have escaped right now by doing that. You're welcome. Here are your 3 dots. However, this was not a real prison. So you have to return to the actual prison. Okay. Damn it, Juan. His hard drive's called fuck.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Lovely.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
I like that.
You real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on?
I love it.
But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay, before I explore this one, I'm going to say two things. One is the cheer that a guy called Pie just wrote, because he gave me a nickel, so I have to read it. I remember the specifics of it, too. Talking about your dream, your lucid dream or something. I was in this small glass shelter next to a single track. All my surroundings were a full bright white, no sky, etc. I rarely, if ever, remember those details about my dream, but I know enough about trains to tell that the train looked like a UK Class 47 locomotive. Thank you for the nickel, anyway. I'm having trouble following your dreams and the dreams in here. So the second thing that I'm going to say before I push forward here is that this game does not, in my opinion, where we are right now, this game does not actually paint a super positive image of the fellow who made the Stanley Parable. So far I've already seen, like, the source of a lot of his ideas and a source of a lot of his inspiration and stuff like that. It seems like Coda is the master here, and when the designer is interjecting, saying, you know, this is horrible to see someone doing this, I guess maybe, you know, because he had the experience of, like, opening these files up and, you know, loading them up and looking through them one by one, and they were on a hard drive, and it was a different thing. They weren't collated the way that he's done for us here, so it's a different experience, and maybe he's got something. You know, maybe it makes sense, but the more that I hear his, like, pushing back against, you know, the means and methods of a true artist, who, yeah, probably their brain works a little bit differently, and is probably, you know, delivers them to some horrible places, but this is how you get to where you're going to. And it just doesn't seem to speak well of him, by my estimations, that he's constantly kind of, you know, judging it, looking down on it, and saying, oh, this person is so sad. This person is fucking brilliant. Okay, no light. Yep, that's why I named you that. No light whatsoever. Houses, structures, seem to be in a little bit of maybe a garden maze kind of a thing. Constantly narrowing. Have a look back and carry on toward the street lamp. Tier 10, this game is a psychological test about things the player can relate to. The things the player can relate to your successes, failures, Sister Macy. I'm just going through the experience of it, but my first immediate response, my gut's response is, I disagree. I disagree. Hello. Hello! Hello. Who is this? It's Ronan Pawn, doing a live stream here. Hey, it's me! I'm you, from after you escaped the prison. Oh, I love this theory. Love this concept. You're me? Yeah! Maybe. You know, could be. So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in the furniture maze. Yep, I was in the escape tutorial. Yep, I was in the reverse prison.
This is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
What's it like to escape? I'm so glad that I know that I get out eventually. What's it like to escape? Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. It's strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in the prison. Or 3, it feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. That sounds beautiful. I love that sound of that experience. Do you feel any different? Well, I wasn't wildly in motion and still at the same time before. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then, or it actually does change. I don't feel like the same person at all. That draws me in two. That cuts me right in half. I want to say both of them. The first one I want to say for me, and the second one I want to say for the me that's on the other end of the phone. I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm really the same person now as I was back then. Oh no, that's awful. That's the worst thing I can imagine. Don't worry, it's actually not a bad thing, I promise. Well, you get something else in exchange, or 3, the problem is that you don't actually know who you are right now. The first was a good answer until the third came up. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. I'm gonna say that, because I like that retroactive rewriting of history. Yes, I did get a call, and that's how I escaped, and now I'm going to tell you how to get out. What? Did they tell you? Oh, what did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? All they told me was to be sincere. They asked me how I felt about being imprisoned. They just talked to me for a while. They just talked to me for a while. What? That freed you? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just talk to me. It will make sense. Just talk to me. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I will be here for as long as you need. No option there, just... And game ends. Fucking beautiful.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
That's why we do Zendnesdays.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
And found out it is going to be okay. You can actually trust me. I know. And you can know. And if we just keep talking, I can get you out of that prison. Coda is a fucking Zen master, and this is his student trying to make sense of his teachings, having never reached what... We need to take a live stream break. We've been going for an hour. I need to pee anyway. But, yeah. This is, like... This guy is laying down judgment at the feet of someone who understands something that he doesn't. Sure, if I've pawned the chat right now is about a dozen times more interesting than the game. You should read it. Your dreams? I should read your dreams? Zen is not interested in your dreams. They're passing, fleeting things, just like your life. Zen isn't interested in your life. Seriously, this is the longer this goes on, the more respect I have for Coda and the less respect I have for the narrator. Maybe that's the point of it. Maybe it's intentional. Maybe it's not. It feels like it's not. Maybe this isn't the experience I'm intended to be having. Maybe I'm seeing an experience clearer than the designer saw. Maybe I'm not. Who knows where we're going with this? What I do know is that it's time for a live stream break. We will be back in 7 minutes with more The Beginner's Guide, which is damned interesting. Damned interesting. I love looking into the mind of this developer. I'm so glad that the developer of the person who packaged all this together and released it as a game, put it together and made this experience possible. And I'm glad that he's giving me like an anti-hero through his interpretations that I'm sitting here going, You don't get it, do you? This game invokes no emotional response to me whatsoever unless I fail to consider it as a piece of art, as the guy called by. And Noah effing loves this game, one of the best he's ever played. We will be back in 7 minutes. Have a listen to some music while I'm gone. God, I'm so shivery today. This shirt is too thin for the weather that is outside right now. Back in 7 minutes. We'll try and inject some Zen into this, if we can keep going. But this is damn interesting. I don't know if there's any room for me to really say anything more than, God. 7 minutes, don't go anywhere. Well, feel free to pee, but then come back. Pawn that out.
We can
Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and welcome back to a Ronin Pawn live stream on twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn. I see some cheers came in when I was stepped away from the PC. Cheer 40 from Parallel. I always feel like the narrator tries to read too deep into Coda. Coder? Makings. He made a bunch of jail games, he felt trapped, versus he made a bunch of jail games, having fun with mechanics. You know, idolism, creating symbolism that isn't actually there, creating an illusion of an emotional struggle that never happened. I also bet that Coda is actually, Redden, and Redden is us? Is that the name of the developer? See, we got geniuses in chat here, too. I'm feeling I'm on sort of your page, Parallel, like, the narrator is, he's giving us the context that I need, and I'm thankful also for his opinions and his interpretations of it, but primarily, so far, we're only an hour in, less than an hour in. Yes, I'm running out of disk space on F. Maybe I'll go and delete something, or maybe we'll just make it a running gag, and I'll never delete it, and it will constantly pop up for the rest of it. That's what Coda would do. The rest of the live streams for eternity, the F drive will always be full, just for the sake of it. I'm actually thankful for his interpretations that he's slapping down on it, because I disagree. And it makes me think of Alan Watts, who, the first game that we played on a Wednesday, Zendnesday, everything, had his teachings, had his old, you know, what would you call them? I'd call them frickin' Dharma talks that he gave to people at college campuses and things like that, where he talked about disagreeing with someone and being in an argument is a lovely thing, because you get to find out what you think and how you feel. And I'm going to add something to what he says. The deeper and the longer an argument goes on, tends to be, doesn't it? Don't you have this experience? Tends to get, like, shallower and shallower as it goes, and it seems shallower. It's like pettier and pettier. You know, you got your big, like, crazy thoughts out, and then somebody else got their thoughts out, and then you try to poke holes in each other's, and then it degrades, and it degrades, and it degrades, and it gets pettier and pettier and pettier. But as long as you're not just, like, you know, breaking down into a shouting match, kind of in the process of that getting pettier or getting shallower, it's actually getting to the point. Because all those highbrow thoughts that you had up top, you know, you kind of get those off of them, and then you find out where you're actually coming from. Like, why you built that big complex web of bullshit that sounds real good and that the other person didn't agree with, and then they get their bullshit out and you don't agree with that, but you get to see down, like, at the bottom level of it, why you kind of feel and think the way that you do. So I'm glad for, you know, for all of this. I'm very happy and thankful. I'm going to continue taking the piss out of, is it Redden? W-R-E-D-E-N, the name of the narrator? And yes, I actually have suspected that as well, Parallel, already, is the idea that is Coda and, you know, is Coda basically just him and a previous version of him, and he's kind of lying to us about, you know, Coda being a different person, and, and, you know, I don't know. But yeah, what I feel like he's giving us is, the context we need, and then his personal bullshit on top of it, which I want there as well. It's helpful. Good point, Para. It's entirely plausible that Coda did what he did because he was just bored, says Hologram 1. Well, here's my interpretation. He's definitely working through things and working them out, but I see, like, a person who is in the process of shaking off a bunch of bullshit that is attached to them. They're in the process of, you know, it's a Zendnesday, let's talk about Zen. Like, we are all Buddha, is where Buddhism comes from, you know, is where Buddhism is coming from. Everyone is perfect. You are perfect, exactly as you are. And the reason, it's only an illusion that you think you're imperfect. There's a lot there, and I don't want to get down that hole because there's so many questions that start up with that, and so many but if this and but if that's. I don't want to go there. But that's where Buddhism is coming from. You're already the Buddha. You've just tricked yourself into thinking you're not, which you did for reasons. Let's just say for reasons. What I see is a Buddha working through shit, shaking off a lot of stuff, you know, going at the layers of self that have been built over true self and working through them in a very proactive and productive and creative and beautiful way He could recite his entire life in such detail it was impossible to make up because he just came out of a 10-day coma. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and the cheers just keep pouring in. Then again, says a guy called Pie, cheering 5, once a redhead in a suit and the other has pigtails. One's a redhead in a suit and the other has pigtails and a biker jacket, so maybe it was just really oddly sexual dream. What are you talking about? Man, you put a weasel in a... one goes on a pole and the other's in the bag with the rerun shows and the cocaine nose job, the daytime crap, the folk singers. I got freaking Beck in chat here with a guy called Pie describing his dreams. I don't like the idea of subconsciously sexualizing virtual computer characters that I'd like in a non-sexual way, so I'm just going to say that's not what happened. I got Beck in chat. YouTube chat not disabled on Pawn Live feed. Pawn might want to change that. I will change that if it becomes an issue. So far, it hasn't been an issue on Pawn Live. People showing up on Ronin Pawn being assholes has been a problem, so we shut it down. I will close the doors when it is made clear by humanity that they are not responsible enough to have them open. Pawn, delete your 3 terabytes of anal furry horse hardcore BDSM porn. I'm saving it for a project. Tier 5, guy called Pie cheering 5. Pawn, do you think my lesbian parenting toddler adoption sim fantasy was sexual or not? Honestly, I really hope not. With the cocaine nose job? He's back. We got back here. Very much doubt you were aware of an entire week passing. It may have felt like a week passed because dreams aren't very consistent time-wise, but it does not seem possible to me for the brain to simulate an entire week of life in a single night. Time is entirely perceptual, though, Pony. That does sound like a pretty hard thing for a mind, but it's entirely... it's amazing when you start thinking about time because there's a layer of physics on there that says that time is completely fluid and... we perceive time a certain way, but something smaller or something faster or slower moving in the universe would perceive time entirely differently, and that's just physics. And then on top of that, you have to say, and then there's perception, and there's your brain and how it interprets time and processing. And I have smoked some dank chronic and perceived time much slower and was able to watch all of the little things, the little micro expressions that people make in a crowd, and it was amazing because time had slowed for me. I don't know. Can we have scissoring Sundays? Says Brent Curie. I will close the door. Tier 5. And yes, I'm cheering for attention. F you, says a guy called Bob. It's back! If they say the human brain is more powerful than the most powerful supercomputer on the planet at the moment, do they say that? And computers can simulate entire worlds. It is my personal belief, which is just a guess. I'm not like, I'm going to stick to it, but it's my personal belief that the human brain is a quantum device, or not device, but it's a quantum structure. The reason why we have so much medical technology that understands every little crevice of the body, and in fact, we have cured many forms of cancer, apparently, or we're on our way to it. We got all this medical science and technology and experience, including people like, doing horrible things, Caligula type, just like ripping people apart and experimenting with their brains and screwing with them. All of that experience, and we still don't really have any deeper understanding of the brain than when it gets hot in this region, then that means that this is active, or, we can grab some signals out of it. And the reason why it's so, lowbrow understanding is because it doesn't exist entirely on this dimension, is what I would say. There's more going on here than what is going on there. It's not just fat cells and, electrons. That's very gross. I'm saying there's something a lot finer going on to the brain that works according to quantum states. Shrooms do a good job of peeling away at the steaming union we call ego, says Dendy. Indeed they do. God, you guys are never going to let me play the game again. I will tell you my experience with mushrooms. I took magic mushrooms one time, psilocybin mushrooms. Took them once. It was a horrible experience because I was with people who were not responsible, and we were driving around, and the whole night I was just like, we shouldn't be doing this. We should not be in a car while we're doing this. This is horrible. This is awful. But what I got to experience sitting in the back of the car, having control of the situation, because I could have, done something. I was very young. I could have done something. I could have gotten out of the car, walked away. I could have, just overpowered the driver who was also on shrooms. And, many things I could have done, but I was too weak-willed back then. I got to experience this, okay? ding, and I would be for 15 seconds in a certain emotional state. It was exactly the same situation as before. I'm sitting in this car, we're driving down the road, the driver is as fucked up as I am on mushrooms, and I'll be sitting there, and for the next 15 seconds, I'll be going, this needs to stop, we can't be doing this, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna die, and then tick, 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 tick. We're all gonna die. It's alright. This is pretty good. Tick, tick, tick. It was like that all night long. And I got to experience, like, how the brain works on a level that impacted me, you know, lifelong kind of way. Because it was the exact same experience, and the internal pinwheel just kept spinning and giving me a completely different experience based on the exact same external stimuli. That's what mushrooms did for me. If you're going to drop mushrooms, people, if you're going to ever take mushrooms in your life, I only did it once. It was a horrible experience. There were some high notes, but it was a horrible experience because the situation around me was chaotic. If you're going to take mushrooms, give you the advice that Bill Hicks gave, go to nature, okay? Go with people who you care about, who care about you, who you know you can trust, and go to nature and enjoy a nice sunny day somewhere outside and just trip balls. If you're gonna do those kind of psychedelic drugs, that's how you use them. I don't use them. I found Zen. I can do whatever I want with my mind. Pawn, how about you play the game instead of talking about the human brain and the cocaine nose job? We got back! Back! That's Mr. Higutek, though. I would love to play the game, but I'm just trying to catch up with chat. Can we play the effing game? Now we can! Because you guys stopped cheering. It's one way to, you know, stifle my income is to just sit here and not play the game and, and keep reading cheers, and then no one will cheer. Nature is good. A silent, completely dark room is very interesting, says Zendnesday. Yeah, it's got to be a safe space. Be in a safe space where you trust. Where you trust. Okay. So, I don't remember where we are in this experience
to me, this
we're having.
environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Thank you, Parallel. Okay, I'm not interested in what this means to you, honestly. Like the art to speak for itself. Could let me experience it first, and then tell me what it means to you, so that you're not tainting the art firsthand, narrator. Okay, there's a glass spilled on the table. We've got, sofa with some... I hate throw pillows. Don't you hate throw pillows? I have so many fucking I've never bought a throw pillow in my life. They just emerge from the walls. They, like, come out of the friggin' drywall. And you never know where to put them. Like, even if I had this much couch, the number of throw pillows that would just come into existence would be too much for the couch. I don't know what to do with them. I have closets overfilling with throw pillows. They're only good for throwing away. I'm going to throw my throw pillows off of the highest building in Detroit as a work of art. Well, my goodness. I'm glad as heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself. Would you mind throwing those fucking throw pillows out? And right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Don't worry about me. Place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night, baby. Is that like a wink and a nod? Lousy homes make home loners. Are we cleaning this whole place? Yeah, don't worry about me. This is a nice place. I'll be here all night. I got nowhere to go. Well, now you just might be getting a little ahead of yourself there now. Come on, baby. Let me in all night. Why don't we start cleaning and then you decide whether you could do it all night? I could do it all night. Listen. Let me just lean in close, lick your ear a little bit. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Okay? Click. Done. I'm that good. And I'm gonna be that good in the other room, too. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? Kind of a waste of time, don't you think? But I will, for you. Spread out some rose petals as well. Is this the bedroom? That's not the bedroom. Where's the fucking bedroom? Don't tell me there are throw pillows in here. Well, here's the bath. Oh, wow. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, and I love the raised sink like that. Ah, I found the bedroom. Am I not the only person who cleans around here? What are these stains? Here. Make the bed. Hey, you know, whoever they were before me, this is fine. They're not throw pillows, but there's way too many of them. What the fuck are we... They're just gonna end up on the floor when you try and get in bed. Why the hell does everyone have so many fucking pillows? While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? All the little details matter. It's not quite straight. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this job? Or it's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. How'd you end up doing this job? Tell me about yourself, baby. I'd like to know something before I... Well... I'll show you later. A friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out, I've never felt so good doing something for money in my whole life. Cleaning is, yeah. Never did like cleaning my own home. I might have gotten some demons. I might have got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh. So it's got like a country drawl to him. I might have got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh, speaking of demons, someone's put this couch all in a right mess there. Would you come out and straighten these pillows here? Well, my hard drive says no, but I say yes. I say yes. Fucking pillows. Do you have a lighter? See? What do you do with them? What? They're not... You need like one for your back, you know, two for company, and that's it. Rid of the rest of them. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there, if you wouldn't do it. It's a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair room. Did it. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. I want to know all about you, hon. All about you. What? No, speak. Tell me. No. Oh, come on! No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. No, I want it. I want you in me. In my life. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Why don't you tell me something about your butt? I mean, your personal issues that you... Alright, wash the dishes. They're reflective, too. There you go. Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? Well, I don't want to get worn out. I'm gonna need some energy for later. No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Alright, well then... I'm done! No, alright, you'd notice that much. There we go. Lovely. Lovely. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? Are they naughty books? Are they dirty books? Do you mind if I overlook them a bit before I do? Just getting ready for you, you know? Into the room. Books scattered about. Alright, wow. If this organizes all the shelves, I mean, look at that. That is significantly... I wonder if he got these models from someone else, or if he made them himself, because that's a lot going on there. And then when I click, that's a lot of change. Damn. Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the
After
table?
the intense set of prison games,
What?
this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience.
Did you have a
where just
party?
need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Fuck you, narrator. Did you have a party while I was in the other room? How did you do that? I had already... House cleaning is so difficult. How do you do it? Are all houses this easy to clean, or do these chores ever end? Do these chores ever end? Are we gonna ever fuck? Just tell me, right now. I want to know. Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom, believe it or not. Trust me on this one.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face. Again,
Zen master at work here. You know? This is one of the reasons why we say there's no future in Zen. Because, like, the things that we try to do in a hurry to get out of the way so that we can get on to the next thing, We lose our lives to that shit. You know? We tell ourselves, oh, I gotta do the dishes. No, you get to do the dishes. Go do the dishes. And enjoy it, and be completely there doing the dishes. Don't be sitting there trying to think about something else, come up with something more entertaining for your mind. Do the dishes, be completely there, and you're gonna have an amazing experience. It's gonna be complete. It's gonna be you right there in that moment. It's worth doing. And every time you take something in your life and you say, this is not like what I really want to be doing, I'm just doing this so that I can get to what I'm really going to be doing, that's your life now. Your life is now comprised of things that you are doing because you feel you have to. Do you know how that affects your, like, psychological and emotional state? Like, make the things that you're doing, the things that you tell yourself, I don't want to do it, this is just, you know, I have to do this, so I'm doing it. Make those as important to you as the things that you're trying to get to by doing them. And then your entire life will be you being present and finding meaning in every single activity, in every exchange, in every person that you meet. Straighten out the rug. Haven't done this before. There we go. Maybe eventually, if we go around in the loop long enough, it'll straighten to a 90, because this is really fucking with me. I hate this. OCD! Looks like the tub has gotten dirty. Would you mind tidying up a bit? Not even a little bit. But we do need to get on to the next thing, because it's really important. I don't have time for all of this. I got better things to do. Earlier, when you said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. I get it, that's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. Yeah, you're right, that's pretty cheesy, but there's a bit of truth in it, no. There's intense levels of truth in it, Coda. I'm sorry that your student, Worden, or whatever, didn't quite get it entirely. But there's a bit of truth in it, no? ... Come to the bedroom, hon. I want to show you some other truth. It's big. Anyway, so, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. No, the sacks. Books. Would you clean up the books? Sure. I'll get on to that. Yeah. And then the sacks, though, right? First the books and then the sacks. Sacks now? Oh, goodness. Those pillows over on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he found some peace.
Would you go over and straighten them up a bit? Can't have these folks coming home to a messy couch. We need to destroy the throw pillows. They will overthrow society. They come from nowhere. They're quantum devices. Fucking throw pillows, man. ... Tell me another secret. Question. Okay. What do you want to know?
But
do you
of
enjoy
course,
this?
It can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Pawn, you see the irony, right? You playing a game about cleaning when you need to clean up one of your drives. There's no irony, Angelus. I'm a Zen master. Whatever I do is... I'm not a Zen master. That was beautiful. That was brilliant. It has an incredibly meaningful point that I'm pretty sure sailed over the head of the guy who made this game out of this game. Tier 5, what if you're stuck doing the things you don't want to do because you can't move on to the things you want to do because society wants to literally kill you for doing the things you want to do because that thing makes you different? Uradlal? That is a situation where you must recognize that all of those problems come from you. All of those problems come from you. Society wants whatever society wants. What do you want? You are the source of all your problems. Oh, and it's the light again. Over there. There's no irony, Angelus. I am choosing to... Here's a story. Okay, here's a Zen story. Maybe I've told it before. I will have told all the stories before. A Zen student comes to a Zen master and asks him, if I can be your student, I want to learn what you have to teach. And the Zen master says, okay, you want to learn what I have to teach? Go out and rake the yard. And it's It's one of those yards that's got one of those big trees that's always dropping shit all over the ground, and the guy's out there for hours and hours and hours raking it all up and raking it all up and raking it all up until the courtyard is completely and totally clear, and the Zen master is standing in the window watching him, completely and totally empty. He raked it to perfection. Then the Zen student walks back over to the tree in the center of the courtyard, kicks it, and it drops a whole bunch of shit. And the Zen master says, "That's going to be a good student." Tier 5. Boobs! This is parallel.
Boobs! Right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Yeah, you were wrong. Oh! Tier 5. My mom was playing Genesis Records today, and it made me realize how effing relevant Land of Confusion still is. We need more politically themed music in our world today. Oh, why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No! I'm answering my questions for you. You came here to become perfect. Oh, I'm another person now. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp, and with a low payment of $99.99. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game, the
so
perspective
easy.
shifts.
Being perfect is effortless. Okay?
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
I don't think I need to move around the classroom. I just want to point out to you that the language that this person, Coda, whoever they are, is using, is the language that my Zen master used quite regularly. I'm telling you, this is a person who is shaking shit off and becoming their true self. And the guy who made this game doesn't get it, because he hasn't done that yet. And Dramatian, if it was Dramatian who cheered that, that's all you need to do. Just shake it off and become your true self. Know that you're already your true, that it's already there. It's effortless. There's no work that needs to be done. You just are. That said, it takes a lot of effort and it's a lot of hard work, but it can be effortless. This is the language of my Zen training. And this is the work of an artist working through this shit without Zen, using his art, remembering who he was. Remembering who he is, rather. Whoa. Yeah, the mouse in this game occasionally takes off on its own. This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? 2. On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. 3. Kids should not follow their dreams. Okay? How do I achieve it with no effort? So now I'm delivering the speech. I get it. Cheer 5. Remember Rick and Morty, cannibalism, incest, Hitler track? No. I mean, I vaguely remember that being a conversation someone was having in chat, but I try to not get too involved in what's going on over there. I'm becoming perfect effortlessly over here. It takes a lot of effort. Let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. 2, I still love you. It's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. 3, being alone must be awful. Oh, God. So I'm delivering the speech and telling them all the things that I want them to hear, and then inside. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. Well, he's in disagreement with me. No, you torture your mind, but no, don't torture. Cheer 5, I made Rick and Morty cannibalism, incest, Hitler trek into a clip, says Mr. Egotech. Oh! Is that where I remember that from? And meanwhile, my internal dialogue is, do I really remember that? I do recall a clip. I don't remember It's so meta. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. To seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? Well, that would be the most direct path. A to B, without wandering off. Personally, my path through Zen was wandering all over the place, and I recommend it. Cheer 2, Cheer 1. How many are you cheering? Cheer 3. It's Cheer 4 and 5. Serious though, between Donald Trump being president, the Russians being the greatest threat to democracy, mom's jeans being the height of fashion, and a major Asian country being considered the future of civilization, I'm not entirely sure this isn't a direct-to-DVD sequel of the 80s. I mean, A Guy Called Pie, if you just put, like, a funky beat to that, you're gonna make millions. Seek out one thing. What is easiest, simplest path forward? There is no truth. There is no path. Ha ha, just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? Okay. You lost me at Mom's Jeeds. Pie loses people in his words, but they're genius. What if I'm not a good teacher? Holy shit, you guys, something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out. Do what is easiest. Do what is simplest. Feel what is true. I've been told that I can move about the room if I want to. So I can write on the... Nothing! No one! What? It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. Everyone run. No, I can't. Just...
I felt pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
All of them.
Assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human.
I'm going.
I think about this game a lot these days.
This guy is too much in his head. Oh my god, it is the Stanley Parable.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Yeah, the narrator is way too in his head. He's trying to think it all to death, and he's not getting it. So if you're thinking it all to death and not getting it, get the hell out of your head. Experience it. Show up. This is the fucking Stanley Parable. This guy ripped Coda off. Coda's a jaded, but Coda never would have brought it to a market, and we never would have gotten to play the Stanley Parable, because, you know, Coda knows something that this fella doesn't. Wow, okay, I'm gonna walk around the back of this stage, which, from the rear, actually looks like a projection screen. Lots of sound equipment is what I recognize as usually being moved around in cases like these. But, you know, I gotta go around the weird, different, odd way, because that's just me, isn't it? And look at the walls back here, all grimy and dirty, and ooh, there's a thing. Can I climb up? Yeah. Well, he took the time for things that clearly are not going to be interactive, that you can interact with. I can only barely see them on my screen, possibly because I've got a million watts of light shining into my eyes while I'm looking at it. But, yeah. Look at all the detail. Look at all the things that he put in that you're not going to interact with, presumably, in this game. We step out onto the stage. Oh, okay. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. Where's that woman that he got to do the... Okay, engine glitching out a little bit. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against the wall. Okay, let me just take a look at this. Massive theater with beautiful light. Look at overhead! People never think about looking up in games. I remember that from Portal. Portal had to teach the player to look up because a lot of the solutions were going to be up. And it was very interesting how they did it. Look at... it's gorgeous! It's a gorgeous little set. Zendnesday saying, once a man started practicing to walk on water so he could cross the big river behind his house. After 30 years, he finally did it. Then Buddha paid a visit to his village and surprisingly walked past this man's house. The man told Buddha he had been practicing 30 years to walk over water to cross the river, and he finally did it. Then Buddha said, yeah, but the ferry costs a nickel. It's a really good one, Dan. I love that. I love that. Camera going crazy on its own. I love that. Yeah, there's you know, people have asked stuff like that. You start talking about Zen and stuff, and there's a lot of stories out there about, you know, what Zen masters have done and what they can do, and, you know, telling the future. And there's a story about a Zen master who used to, like, he would dip a quill in some ink on one side of a river, and then he would write on the paper that someone was holding on the other side of the river, and it would appear over there. And there's a lot of stories like that, you know, Jesus-y kind of, you know, mystical power kind of stories, and people are curious about that, and they'll ask about them. And my Zen master used to say, you know, put it to you this way: if you can walk on water, is there a reason to, like, put your time into that? I mean, it's nothing to not put your time into. My personal interpretation is I spent like 3 years developing a golf swing that allowed me to hit the ball like 220 to 240 yards. I can't do it anymore, but when I put the time in to train myself to do that, I was able to do that. That was 3 years of, you know, pretty constant practice in order to achieve that miracle of hitting 240 yards. If I could float in midair by will of my mind, it would be the functional equivalent of learning to golf. Like, what's the difference? You know? Everything that we're doing and that we choose to do is equal. Some of it seems magical. What's the difference? It's magical when somebody can hit a golf ball 300 fucking yards, I'll tell you that. Tiny little ball and, you know, big long stick and all of the mechanics in your body that go into that. That's just as magical as walking on water. Why not just take the friggin', you know, boat? Why not just take the ferry, as Den suggests? We are at a gathering of professionals. First to start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The woman that across the room... Oh, she wasn't there a moment ago. In this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. Okay, get into character. This is your one chance to learn something here. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Okay, I'm leaning on the wall. I'm trying to be like Cash, you know. Just... Do I say hello? Sorry, I have to leave, or where is the bathroom? Sorry, I have to leave. You're leaving? You can't leave. You're letting your animal brain make decisions. Be bigger than that and have an actual conversation with her. Do it again. Oh, okay, sorry. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. Okay, confident. Right. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now, talk to her again. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. I'll bet you've learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? I'll bet you've learned to lean into the pain. You're messing it all up again. I'm sorry. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. Okay, everything's riding on this. I have to impress her. I have to find just the right thing. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Director? Where did all the audio equipment go? I don't recall this being here before. That's the end of the level indicator. I'm going to go straight to the pole. Oh, pole. Should I dance? Should I take it off? You're gonna have to pay me more. Alright. I'm just gonna head back. Okay. So now I really have to commit to this experience, huh? Really gonna have to, like... how did you want me to do it again? I'll do it right this time. I'm sorry. Don't do it, Pawn. Don't. Stay on the stage. Pawn, no. He is taking a long-ass effing time to lean against the damn walls. Says Nowacroft. Of course I am. Okay, yes. Now this is working.
The game ends with this
is what it was like.
Of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. the solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very helpful when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
God, this narrator is ruining this. Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. What's going on? Captain, what can we do? Help, I'm blind, I can't see anything, what's going on? I can't die like this. I can't die like this. We're all blind. And then my vision suddenly went black. What's going on? There was a giant door, and then, you can't see anything either. Oh my god, there's a door, and it's coming for us. Quick, go to warp. Please, someone talk to me. Please, tell me how to solve this. I need to know. Ah! Okay, I did it wrong. Cheer 5, yeah, Palm, this isn't what I want for you and your streams. You should play the game. I want you to play. Says everyone in chat all the time. Says
to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
What? I should probably just stand here and close my eyes and not do anything, but help, I'm blind, I can't see anything, what's going on? I didn't hear what he said, so I don't know, was it helpful? Am I going to be killed by a giant door? Possibly. Hey! So there's a door. Can we do anything? Help! Why did I go blind? I can't see. Help, I'm blind. I'll just fit in. I'll pretend like I'm, you know, as blind as they are, even though I've got my eyes open and can see everything. Please, someone talk to me. He said there is a solution. I heard that part. Yes. Am I going to be killed by a giant door? Yeah. I'll hit the button. Fire the boosters, everyone. Wait, what? Help! Help, I'm blind! We're all blind! No one's blind, we're all... Okay, maybe it's just through the turbo lift. Hey! Turbo lift takes me up here. Please don't let this be forever. The only way to stop is to speak something that is honest. I am bursting with creative... I can't keep making these. My work is always fun. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. I don't feel it anymore.
I was getting concerned. First off,
Keep
he's
going.
never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking.
Yes, we're finally playing
where's
stage
that
9.
coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like,
from the first game, the Whisper
sometimes
Drive.
a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time. It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
I haven't been honest. You're doing it. It's working. Yay! I'm alone. I'm stuck in it. I have to work harder. I'm alone. I'm alone. We're going to be okay. Because we are going to be okay. See, this guy's seeing, like, you know, the dude withdraw. You need to shut up and let me talk.
It's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
This guy's seeing, you know, oh, the game is withdrawing and all that sort of thing, and yet the character who's walking the character that you're playing through it ends it on saying, we're going to, like, the we. Like, it's an acknowledgement of the fact that we all have the feeling of being alone, but there's no such thing as alone. Like, oh, this narrator. I feel nothing, says Hologram 1. Well, good for you. Hello, where am I? What is this? I'm moving the mouse in all of the directions. Yes, there's absolutely nothing to see. Hello? Oh, hello, little tree. What a lovely little tree. Where did this island come from? How do I get out of here? Hello, is anyone there? Yes, hello, is anyone there? You know, things come into being, no big deal. Happens to me all the time. Ah, right across the little stones to another lovely tree. Is that a person? Mouse, is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. Well, I'm not used to being here, and the place I just came from disappeared. I'm completely out of ideas. When I try to create, I feel empty. I have nothing left to give to my work. I have nothing left to give to my work. And then we cross. Oh no! Oh no, what's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped, or I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. That's the first thing that I haven't, that went right over my head. There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. To start it again. This engine. Hear the audio? That little weird stretching? I think that's intentional. Okay, this is a vagina. This is a vagina. That's clitoris, labia. That's a vagina. What? It's a Georgia O'Keeffe painting is what it is. You're looking for a machine. I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped. Take me to it, please. And then I can fix the machine. It's no problem at all.
If the last game
that also is a
vagina explicitly about his creative frustrations,
I can take you to it, but there's a problem.
Turns it up to 11.
It's guarded by a difficult
Put
puzzle.
yourself in my shoes playing this.
If you can solve the puzzle,
Here's a
find the
friend
machine.
whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Look what's ahead. Look what's ahead. Ah. Man, to beat Coda and have this guy for a friend, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he was useful. I'm sure he was a good friend, but just to not get it, not understand what you're going through. Perfect. Perfect. Come along, I'll show it to you. Look at what we happen to be passing through, you know? And this narrator hasn't mentioned anything that has anything to do with Zen, Buddhist philosophy, and it's all right in here, and look, we're passing through the fucking gates of a temple.
Because from my perspective at the time, and
your
just
flawed
what I knew of
perspective,
him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Hey, I recognize this. I've solved this puzzle before, or this is easy. I've solved this puzzle before. Oh, wonderful. Can you tell me how to do it? First, you have to open the door. Instead of black smoke, we have white smoke now. Okay, now what? Now you have to close the first door. And the door closes, and now the switch is there. Alright, what's next? Now, just open the first door. No, not close. Did I say close? I must have pressed the wrong button. So just open the first door, too. Yeah, okay, I must have hit the wrong button. I don't think there's a way to open it from here. What? Just press the switch here? There you go. Silly.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness.
So simple. I can't believe I never solved
way.
it before this.
You can't be the one
I'm
writing
pretty
both
smart.
the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Can't believe I've never solved it before this. Okay, here we are. I have nothing left to give to my work. Hello, deal. I'm trying to find... These are all the things I said to him. Trying to find this engine that used to protect me. To start again. I've solved this puzzle before. I need to see it to know why it stopped. Hello, is anyone there? What are you talking about? There's no machine here. These are just words on some walls. That's what they are. Trust me, you'll see. I hear the crying. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that the game development is simple and joyous, and that you love it 100% of the time. Okay, making games is simple, sure, making games is easy, alright, making games is effortless. Effortless. Ah, that feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Why did the walls just crumble? Why did I feel so awful when I said that? Don't worry about it. Just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. When I make games, I feel completely energized. I am constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. It is easy. It never stops being easy. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
It looked really unhealthy to me.
Every time I make something, I feel better about myself.
I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Video games aren't, but the nature of existence as a human being is suffering. And if you think that this person is working through video games, you're a fucking idiot. Every time I make something, I feel better about myself. Just never stop creating, and you'll never feel bad. It's such a simple... So I'm gonna go with 1 here. Yeah! Perfect! Perfect! Just
really
keep saying things.
And I used to get so much joy out of
No, I
seeing
can't
him
even see
create.
it. Thanks, Fox.
For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Yeah, here's the thing, narrator. Your anger and frustration is yours. This is someone working through this shit. Like, he started out by saying, to see someone I care about so trapped. This is not trapped. This is digging out. And if you don't see that, then you're not going to be a very helpful person in their life. None of this is helping. I'm going to vomit. Please, where is the machine? I'm going to vomit. Patience. You have to trust me. I promise this will work. Please, continue. Alright. Pain breezes effortlessly off me. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time. It always pays off eventually. Yes, more. Keep going. Keep saying these things.
I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Yeah. Have you considered, narrator, that this is for you? There is no shame, no fear, no guilt. I will be saved by my work. I believe this unquestionably. I am a vessel for certain. I will be saved by my work. Boom. Opened it up. Incredible. That's it. I'm free. I'm free! And the trapped woman...
But it didn't stop.
In the old
After
prison
finishing
room.
this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Again, a woman. Started out with a woman. Woman's voice. Referring to, you know, her. And Coda, whenever Wyvern, or whatever his name is, continues referring to him, is always as a he. And yet, represents himself as a woman. Curious. Interesting. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. Again, we are a woman. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. Okay, so we've come looking for the machine that's going to reinvigorate our career or whatever. Tier 5. It's like if a person built a dam to stop a flood and then someone comes along and is like, no! Locking it all up is bad, and then tries breaking the dam. Spirit love. It's... I don't know. I don't know where all this is going. The sense that the narrator keeps giving that, you know, this person is so, like, desperate and lost. Like, I look at all of this and I say, this is a person who is not desperate and lost. This is a person who is actually on their way out of desperation and being lost. And the people who think that this person is desperate and lost, who look across the room and say, that's horrible, oh my god, don't do that, stop doing that, stop putting yourself through that. It's because you haven't even started the fucking process of getting yourself out of being desperate and lost. This is what it looks like. It's messy, and you shed a lot of shit in the process. But it's how you get there. My life before the Zen Center got me to the Zen Center, and it included a lot of shit that everyone else would have said is like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Oh my god, what's wrong with him? He must be so lost. I was lost, but I was in the process of getting out, and the people who were standing at the sidelines going, oh my god, stop doing that, were people who were so lost and so afraid to even try that they looked at me trying and said, they were afraid of the fact that I was making my way out. Probably because they were afraid that once they saw me get out, they'd have to do it themselves. Tier 5, damn it, people, I need validation and attention, says a guy called Pi. With the cocaine nose jobs. Right. I intend to be quick, I intend to be quiet, I intend to be brutal. I intend to be quick. Guard. Very good. Alright, well, let's just go ahead and open it. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Do-dun. 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 Do you know where the poisonous games have come from? What will you do with it? What can you tell us? Do you know where the poisonous games have come from? Will the machine ever explain itself? Where did you find the machine? Answer a few questions for the paper, please. I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything. If you can't figure it out yourself, then you're not ready for it, and anything I tell you will only probably delay you from getting where you need to go. Photograph me from my right side, profile, not the left. It's very ugly on the left. This is my machine.
Course, it's the machine.
Yes. Yes, Tier 5 is commenting on the commentator commenting on games before finishing the game, making just as bad as the commenters, says Parallel. I don't know! We'll see where he takes it. Maybe he redeems himself. Tier 5, just playing devil's advocate here, Pawn, but what if you're wrong? What if this wasn't the guy getting shit sorted? I mean, I have to imagine a lot of people trying to get out of the shit get lost along the way. What if this is the experience of being lost? The experience of being lost, Angelos2141, is the experience of getting through it. You don't get out. Like, Zen is all about, like, if you've made the decision to get out, you know what you want, Zen is about going straight toward it. And it lays out a path that is straight toward it. A to B. My experience with Zen and with everything in this human life is that no matter how much you set A and B as your destination, you're gonna go like this. If this person committed suicide, that suicide is part of their process. But this person is on the way to getting out. And I'm not sure I can say the same about the commentator. You stopped! Why aren't you working? Why aren't you? You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. You stopped feeding us. We need you. These people out there. Those people out there. Can you imagine what pain you've put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? Two. It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. So here's what needs to happen. You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. 3. I've been so alone. I've been so alone. Let me put my cheek against your radiator. Apologize for leaving me. Apologize. You hurt me. This is reminding me of that comedy skit where the fellow, like, yells at the horse for not remembering that it was his birthday. No, nothing, think carefully. I know how to hurt you. I have seen the thing you fear. No, nothing? Nothing then? Is it nothing from you? Machine? Self? Sense of identity? Desperate, fleeting clawing for purpose through what you do? Alright then, I will apologize to the people on your behalf. Alright. I'll apologize to the people on your behalf. Wow, I was quick, wasn't I? I'll let them know. Ladies and gentlemen, my followers. Yeah, I like that. My followers! You will all now bow down and worship the rodent pawn. It falls on me to deliver. I have a troubling revelation. You are my followers. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately... The machine will not apologize to us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Both of those are the same. I chose number 1. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. The better of those is let us pay it retribution. Follow me. We will destroy the machine. Follow me. We will destroy everything that the machine has created. Yes, for we can live without it. Oh. Here we are. Oh, and there's no door there anymore. Okay. Hey, we got the gun back! Yeah! Coda, I'll make sure your work dies here. Coda, I'll make sure you are known forever. I'll make sure your work dies here. Isn't that what you're scared of? Having to live without your precious creations, having to deal with yourself.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having
You're stuck in your own head, dick.
And that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Ooh.
So, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
What's this one? Oh, right. The end of the one where it was all nice and whatnot. At least that's how he described it. And it colors your, interpretation. Because this was... The whole level was beautiful. I loved it. I loved it absolutely. Oh boy, the Stanley Para, says Bearsuit Lane. No, it's the other one. It's the other... Whoa!
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one.
I fell down.
And the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. The point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
It's not about that. Idiot. Put down your weapon. I don't think I have a choice. I can't move my mouse in any direction. I can only stare at the machine. Coda, as it's known. The self. Wait, can I move? I can't move. Oh! Put down my weapon.
Can
oh!
you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
I can't put down my weapon.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need. To be told that my work is good. That I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good. Like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
So fulfilled. So there was something missing until you had the approval of others.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Le Tower. Again, beautiful, beautiful graphic design. Just a great sense of space, a great sense of color, of light. Just choosing to have little bits of wall that come out from the wall. Like, this is masterwork, is what it is. Okay?
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work.
That would be lovely.
Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Well, thank you for preloading that, instead of letting the player experience it and then, you know, and then having something to say about it. Okay, I'm guessing that's going to close. No? No? It doesn't close. Okay. Stays
This
open.
room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible.
Ah!
And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels,
That's
so
your
when you're ready to
interpretation.
continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Hang on! It's a big one, and it's going to be very hard to figure it out. Yeah, that's too much. I'm going to actually go on a diagonal here. And go like that, and like that. Aha! Diagonal works. Alright, that's enough, though. We got a live stream to show. Live stream to do. But yeah, that is big, and that is brutal, and lovely. Lovely. Wow, is chat dead? Are you guys still
And to be
here
fair,
with me?
It's not like this is the first
Has
game
my
that's
chat
needed
monitoring
some
died?
modification
'Cause
to be playable.
Hasn't moved
Like
in a minute.
the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
We're all very intrigued. Okay, I just want to make sure that things hadn't broken down. Paul, we're just bored, I guess. Nothing to talk about. Yeah, that's where you come from all too often, Pi. What's that about? Look into yourself, huh?
The only way past this challenge is to
Interesting.
randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made.
Ooh.
It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
No, I'm gonna get it. I'm almost there, nearly. There are only, let's see, how this is 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wow. That would have been really hard to, there's a lot of possibilities there. 1. Oh, crap, I went all the way around. I clicked too many times. That would be even better, Coda, is if, like, when you tried to click the actual number, that would be, oh, that's a good idea for a puzzle. A puzzle like this, where you have to, like, set the number. You have to, like, set a number and it doesn't tell you, and it's a big, long number like this. And every time you set, like, the right numbers, like 2 of the right numbers in a row, from left to right, it changes the one next to it. So if I put in 1, that's fine. When I put in 5, this one will scroll to 2. And that's your indication of how you need to solve the puzzle, is to do that. And then at the end, you have to, like, having figured it all out, you have to come down here and do it backwards. Good idea for a puzzle. Somebody write that down, because that is a really good idea. Who's cheering? Cheer 5 sneezes, says Parallel. There's a strange smell in chat, says Evil Donner Vulcan. This dude says that this is out of character for Coda, but that stair game just takes time as well. Yeah, and the waiting an hour? The waiting an hour and, yeah, the stair game. That's what you're talking about. The stair game, right. The one that he broke for us. Yeah, it's not out of place. Oh, and you would have to actually pull this every time in order to see if you were right or not? Okay, that's not just time. That's, like, the only people who are allowed to play are those who get to, like, who can go into the background of the code and find out what the code is. Sure. And he's asking, what's the point of this? We've had a puzzle, we've had an unbreakable code, okay? The odds of ever guessing that number correctly would take ages. You just have to go into the code and figure it out. And now we have a hole that we're jumping down into an area that we just have to trust is the way forward, because otherwise we're stuck in a hole.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
So you can open the door for me, which means you could open the door for you, which means Coda knew that you would be able to open this door. I really hope that...
Was I a failure?
That this
for not
guy...
understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Keep working at it. Keep deepening it. That's all I can say. Okay, is this just... I can't actually see where I'm... Ah! There we go. Where I'm intended to go.
Remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew. It wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Well... I mean, I don't know. If I had to guess, coda is the end of a song. Ellipsis is the end of a sentence, which is what 3 dots represent. I'd start from there if I were trying to understand. I should be less of a dick to this guy who just doesn't get it. You know, it's okay. It's okay to not get it. Just stop trying to fix someone else. Healer, heal thyself. Ooh. Ooh! The first splash of, like, light and life and color that I've seen in ages right there. And look at how vibrant and alive it is. It's just hot fucking 80s pink and orange. Nice.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
Hello, this is RMAJ. Hola, Bearsuit Lane. We're all being very quiet. It is apparently, you know, we're approaching the end of the narrator's psychosis and the ultimate becoming of Coda. I chose the path on
Where did I
the
screw
left, the right? I don't know. Where did you screw up? Why is it about you?
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Listen to the footfalls. The echo stretches all the way up. It's almost scary how much I knew.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
So this is like the Stanley Parable? This is put together by the fellow who made the Stanley Parable, off of the person who inspired him's work.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
I basically have nothing to say because I've already said it.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Ooh. The puzzle again.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Called it! Anyway. From fucking minute one. I'm just saying. Excuse me. Yeah, you did good, Pawn.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
I don't know what to say, because, like, now he's copping to it, so it's like, at this point, you just kind of just sit back and, yeah, this is what we were trying to get through to you with. He gets it. He gets the problem. He gets the problem, absolutely. Funny how this is on Valentine's Day, says RMAJ. So this, I presume, is then his work. This is not Coda's work. It's his. And he's using Coda's tools. The lighting, the color that draws you, grabs your attention and brings you through. What did I say?
Solution.
Coda was the master, and this fellow was the student who just didn't quite get it. Putting all of that upon Coda and saying how screwed up he was.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Did you invent Coda? Is Coda real, by the way? Because your vision of Coda is entirely representative of yourself. So I wonder if there is a real Coda and there was a Coda that came into your life, or whether you needed a Coda and it was...
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I've been wondering if Coda's real, says Bearsuit Lane. Yeah. Tier 5. Unrelated, but I spent 2 hours watching you and playing Minecraft. No, not the server, I can't log on to that, and it didn't save for some reason. I hate that. Okay, Angelus. So we are, some underground, sort of a parking complex that is slowly crumbling upon our heads is how I would describe it. Pillars trying to keep it
If I
up
knew
desperately.
that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be?
Wow.
It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
I'm just amazed to hear him use the word validation. Because, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I was having trouble myself finding the word. I don't know, at this point I suppose in other people's playthroughs they'd be going, oh, and ah, and it's like, I knew what was up here from the minute one, and I'm not like trying to brag like, oh, I saw it coming, that kind of stuff. I mean, I was just listening to this guy describing this other person. I was looking at this person's work and saying, the person who you're describing doesn't exist in their work. It's you. You're putting them here. So we're finally there where, you know, the curtain comes back and we find out that the great Oz has been behind the curtain making this shit up and sticking it on there. And I mean, there's stuff in there, but what he was seeing was what he was seeing in himself, not what he was seeing in the other person.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
And that's actually even the saddest part right there, is that he exits on saying, I feel like I have a lot of work to do, that there's things that I need to make up for. That's not... I mean, I've just dealt with, you know, it's 2 weeks I've been spending with Whitney and dealing with her addiction and her problems, and, you know, they stem from, you know, they come from yourself. Come from who you are and who you identify as, and what you can't take and what you can take. And it's so to see people like this and to know, but to not be able to give, you know. No one can save anyone else, and all you can do is create opportunity. Tier 100, other YouTubers have played this game and it affected them deeply by the end of the playthrough because it hit similarities in their own lives, says Jermise. I've already worked through this shit. Like, the way that it hits me is... I very often feel uncomfortable, seeing the world differently and knowing things that I know because of my time studying myself and studying Zen and studying how we all work. And like, you can't just step into someone else's life and say, this is what you need to know, or this is what you need to change, or this is what you need to experience. And that's why there's Zen. That's why there's a thing. Because it's a teaching, it's a practice, and the more you go through it, the more it can start to feel as though there are hidden truths behind hidden walls, and you have to get close enough to the Zen master, stick around long enough to, like, be allowed to know them and shit like that. The truth is, the things that you need to know are things that you cannot understand until you can understand them. And if they were told to you beforehand, you would form ideas about them, and those ideas would get in the way of you actually knowing what they are. Actually knowing the truths. Not being told them, not learning them. And so, like, how it hits me is reminding me of the experience that I have more and more often of having to, like, sit here and know that there are people in pain and there are people having troubles and difficulties, and understanding exactly their experience, having been there myself. It's not unfamiliar. It's not like I'm imagining it. Feeling it through you and knowing what needs to happen so that you can be free, but not being able to give that to you. Because it isn't an object. It's not something I can take in my hand and hand to you. And it's not a set of words. If it were, somebody would have spoke them long ago. Someone would have written them down in a book. And it would just be, you know, we'd hand it out to everyone at age 12. And then it would just be taken care of. But it doesn't exist like that. It's a process for everyone. And everyone has to go through this process. And it is... the hardest thing is to remain soft while being strong. To be available, to be emotionally in touch, to empathize in a situation where you know that you can't stop the other person's pain. And if you're going to empathize with them, then that means you have to feel that pain too. That's how this hits me. Because the narrator needs to work through some shit. And Coda has been trying to help him and trying to show him something. But even now, at the end of the thing, and it's been years since this was released. It was released in 2015, but at the end of the thing, you know, he takes his voice and he leaves the project on the note that I feel that I have things to make up for and I have to fix things or I have more work to do. And Coda would know as well as I do that that is not going to help you. That mind is not going to help you here. So we're left to our own devices to see what the last level, that, again, I'm pretty sure this isn't Coda's work, this is the developer's work, what this is, and try to be fairer to him than he was to Coda. If I were Coda, I'd be making prison games to train myself to become a better 3D modeler, says Bearsuit. I loved his work. Loved his work, loved his use of light, loved his use of color. You know. Ah, it's an elevator. I was gonna say, is this a door that you can never get up to? Yeah! 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 There you go. I ain't waiting for you. I got places to be. Again, this is why I don't come to these live streams. Hurts too much, man, says RMHA. Then the narrator guy sticks his nose where it doesn't belong, sours the experience of training. This is very much the last levels, or one of the, what, you know, there wasn't really a last level. Maybe there was, because I never actually finished the Stanley Parable. I never saw all of the possibilities, and, you know, there's just a million different endings. But that section right there looked very much like the museum section of that work. I don't know what there is to say, you know, it's like, what is important, most important here to, like, note and to say, has either already been said and already been communicated, or to try and say it more would kind of like the secrets of the Zen training, to say anything about it would make it harder to actually realize. And then we float upward. Bring it all full circle. Brent Gary, as a European worker who knows better, or so I've been told, it's my duty, I've been told, not to care and just shake my head dismissively instead, says a guy called. I honestly find this rather amusing. Koda was just making stuff because he could, and this guy came on in and read way too much into it and fucked up all the fun. I think it's a little bit more than that. A lot more than that, in fact. But I don't know. What would you say to the developer if he's still in this place or still struggling with this lack of a sense of purpose outside of having the approval of people around him?
Turn back from this cave.
What are the odds that that is not copyrighted music?
Me prove that I'm brave.
This project would not have been possible without the following individuals. Okay. I'm going to lower the volume significantly so I can keep talking. What would you say to him if he were still in this place? Because he represents, you know, a significant amount of people who are still in that place. You know, and who are going to be in that place, and people who haven't even come to this planet yet, who aren't born yet, who are going to have to go through that place. What would you say to the man who cannot find meaning without acceptance, who cannot find meaning without the, at least tacit approval of the people around him? The congratulations, the pats on the back, and so forth. What would you say to someone who has hung their happiness on an identity that is attached to what other people think and how other people feel? What would you say to them? What would you say to them? I am the Ronin Pawn. That's what I'd say. Because you already know what you need to know. The answer's in the question. What would you say to them? What would you say to someone whose life is dependent upon the approval of others, who only finds meaning through work, who only finds meaning through creation? Cheer 5, the music was written by the narrator, actually. Oh, really? And Cheer 5 checked DMS? Discord, something? Or, I don't know. Cheer 5, the music was written. Thank you. Thank you. Good night, people. Okay? Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. It's all in there. You can watch it on the replay if you need to at pawnlive.roninpawn.com. Pawn out.